Right now, it's about to start.
He lying.
We live.
I think he lying, bro.
How everybody doing?
I don't know. What's going on? What we doing? You ain't doing the intro?
Yeah, it's in between the holidays. We going live right now, man.
We going live without the intro?
No, we going to live and then I'm gonna hit the intro. You silly.
Oh, suckers!
Like
it is holiday season, man. What y'all buying y'all kids? Or y'all ain't doing that no more?
Man, just like Tav said, plane tickets.
that's the holiday gifts.
Plane tickets.
Kids got too old for gifts.
Y'all went live.
Yeah. We outside.
You gotta get it started. Gotta get it cracking.
I know, Tad. You're gonna have to add a little extra to the front when they paint it next time. Because I only see this like your widow's peak.
I'm in between cuts, bro. You should see it. I'm too far away from the camera right now. It's a lot of gray in here, even though it looked like it ain't. I don't even care though. You know, I was thinking about it the other day. The ladies get their weaves and do what they do. So y'all ain't gonna bother me no more. Y'all some crabs in a bucket. Y'all just want me to do some crabs in a bucket. Gray hair.
Hey,
what up?
Been gone for a second, but now we back.
Back like we never left. Where is this other dude that? Is he Bobby Brown?
Man, yeah, you know he gotta make a special entrance. He gonna slide in.
He Bobby Brown.
Nah, he gonna do the 5 heartbeats. He gonna come in like 5 heartbeats. Hard in the house tonight. That's gonna be
okay. If he can do that, I ain't mad at him because that boy had the crowd rocking.
He gonna come in sliding.
Right. Was that Leon? That was Leon?
Did y'all ever think they was a real group?
I did.
I did for like 10 seconds. I was like, man, they working.
No, I did for longer than 10 seconds. It's like at least a year. I was like, man, why ain't got none of that shit on Apple Music?
Oh my goodness, Apple Music, bro. Stop it. No, them dudes did their thing. That was a great movie.
That was a great movie.
That was a great movie. And to be honest with the title, did they play themselves like as the groups like they held each other back?
I mean,
crabs in a barrel.
Hey, that's what we getting into today. Where are they?
Did they get in each other? Did they get in their own way? I think was it the drugs? Was it the system? Was it the?
It's always the drugs in the system, man.
What was it, bro? It was, but they had conflict in the group too. Oh, buddy was hitting on.
What it was is, damn, bro. He
was hitting dude, chick, man.
He was taking his own brother's girls.
The third conflict, though. That wasn't the first.
Just know he was taking his own brother's girls on a regular basis. He'd be like, let's do Shaw brother. And the next thing you know, next time, I got you next time.
The conflict really happened, bro, because Eddie was tripping because he was on that stuff. And the manager was tired of dealing with it. And then Big Red kept trying to be like, you don't need him. You could do da-da-da-da-da. Because remember, Big Red didn't manage them. So he played the game. And then, I think Shug was watching that one night. Because remember, he hung that dude over the balcony. And what happened to Vanilla Ice? Bam.
Vanilla Ice had a hit on his hands too, though. For sure.
I did that, though.
We missing one. He's probably going to be here. But I think
he going to come in. But I'm going to just kick it off with
Bobby Brown, man. Kick it off, Pete.
I'm going to kick it off for us. So today's topic, we're going to cover crabs in a bucket. Now, there's a lot of ways that we can look at it. Can we look at it through an analogy? Can we look at it through people's interactions? Like how people engage with each other? Do they actually assist each other? I don't know if we're going to really be having those problems within our group because we're always trying to uplift. But in general, through the analogy perspective, are we in a continual cycle of being crabs in the bucket?
I think we should talk about kind of too, though, what we was talking about backstage, like when we were talking about how we wanted to go about this topic, because I think there are different ways to look at it, because you know how I said it, and Jeff was like, I don't know if that's a crabs in a bucket. That's just sound like a hater to me. But like you said, if you look at our friend group, the reason why we would think that just sound like a hater is because you can't be around us doing no shit like that. So I think it's
drop what you was gonna drop so we can get to it.
Okay, so the way I looked at it, is that going into next year, right? We at the end of the year, ball gonna drop pretty soon. A lot of people start forming their New Year's resolutions, new habits, what they want to do, different goals, aspirations, dreams, anything. Any of these things that these people are thinking about could change the trajectory of their life, whether it's health-wise, financial-wise, financial literacy, turning your family's legacy into something totally different. It could change any of those things. So for me, if you have somebody that's trying to do that and you got one person that tells them, oh man, you're going to do that, or oh, you shouldn't do that, or oh, like, why don't you think about doing something else? Anybody that does that to stop you from reaching your goals or even stop you from wanting to achieve what you're trying to do. So that could just come in one of your friends. You're like, man, I'm going to get into real estate. And they're like, how you going to get into real estate? You ain't got a lot of money. You ain't got good credit. But hell, just from Keith's being on here, 6 months ago or something like that, he just talked to people about how you could jump in a real estate game with no credit. So what if somebody literally just didn't do it no more because they had a friend tell them something like that? Would that be that friend pulling them back down and stopping them? I don't know.
That ain't no damn friend.
It ain't, but
that person is a hater, bro. Because, and I don't feel like that's crabs in the barrel. That's two different things, Saf. So I'll get to that too. So I feel like that person's just a hater, because that person, the crabs in the barrel is, I got to bring you down to lift myself up. That person ain't getting into real estate, or that person isn't working on their health, or that person isn't working on whatever it is that you're trying to build. They just hating like, Tab, you ain't gonna be, Tab, you can't do that. Your credit is trash. Or Tab, you ain't got enough money to do that. That don't make no sense, because they don't see the vision. So that's hating to me. Crabs in the barrel, I feel like it's like we scrapping for scraps. So I gotta grab what I can grab so I can survive. That's two different things.
Yeah, but see, I look at them all one and the same though. Like, yeah, you saying pull me down to pull yourself up. I mean,
sometimes it's not pull somebody down to pull themselves up. It's to pull you down just so that you stay
just to pull me down. A lot of motherfuckers ain't got swagger like us. You're not built to do what I can do. Not you, but I'm saying motherfuckers ain't built to do what we can do. So you're not gonna pull me down to pull yourself up. You wouldn't even know where to look, which way is up, trying to do the type of shit I'm doing. So that's why I say it's not necessarily somebody pulling themselves down to pull themselves up. Motherfucker, you can't be us. You're going to have a problem and hard pressed trying to do that. So you just pulling me down because you don't want to see me hit that next level of advancement, because it was okay when I was one playing field ahead of you. But now when I hit level 4 and you still on level 1, that might be a problem for you. And you just don't want me to hit level 4. You want me to be stuck on level 2 because it's comfortable to you being around me. It doesn't make you feel like you got to achieve more. It doesn't make you feel like when your chicks is outside in front of us or in front of me, they want me or something like that, or want us because of what we doing. That's kind of my whole point, is like, I just don't want you to level up, because if you get too many levels in front of me, it's going to be uncomfortable with me being around you. So let me tell you something to keep you one level down so that this don't become awkward to our relationship, or you don't make me feel self-conscious about myself.
That's still hating, and then that's insecurity.
Man,
it's insecurity, bro. It's two of the same thing. Why would I not want to see y'all boys winning? Because you know what's gonna happen when Tab driving that Ferrari. I'm gonna be in the passenger seat, and I'm gonna be waving like a scrub, hanging out. But we in that thing moving, right? So when P bubble and he got that 10-bedroom, and I need somewhere to stay, P, let me get one of the bedrooms, bro. So I'm there when I'm back at home for 2 weeks. I need somewhere to live. Like, why would I hate on that? Because we are a family. You know what I'm saying? So why would I not want to see y'all win, and vice versa? I don't get that kind of tone. I can see their skepticism and like, hey, bro, you might want to plan that out, think accordingly. Let me help you do this, that, and to get that established. But I don't feel like that. That's two different things. Like, let's think this through, versus like, bro, that ain't gonna work. That just sounds dumb. You know what I'm saying? That I don't feel like that don't seem real to me.
I mean, that's a learned behavior, I think, because was that a learned behavior?
Because
because if somebody is actually putting forth that much thought to be like, let me make sure I pull you down just so that you can maintain the same level of underachievement that I do. Like, that's how I look at a crabs in the barrel. And if I'm trying to be successful and you continue to pull me down,
I mean, I don't know. What Tab is talking about is, I feel like it's different to me. But I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to discuss it.
So, I mean, So all right, let's use some real scenarios. So in the rap community, right? There's people that are attempting to be successful and they stay within their community because they're like, hey, I don't want to leave where I'm from. I want to give back to my area and I want to, give my money back. I want to lift up everybody, but then something happens to them in that space. Would you say that's a form of crabs in the bucket?
That's hating to me too.
That's hating to me.
That's just hate.
So specifically, you talking about like a young Dolph Nipsey Hussle type of situation where I'm not far away, but you know what I'm saying? I'm accessible, kind of.
Perfect situation.
That's hating to me because when you
Big L, all them, yes.
When you do something like that to somebody in your community, whether you don't like them or not, I mean that's just hating. I mean especially the person that's allegedly accused of doing what they did to him, in Nipsey's situation, it's like he seems like more of a hater to me. I mean, they were never in the same bucket. And if they were, it's been a Nipsey crawled out of that a long, long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I kind of look at these rappers in their situation. And I look at it when you get a certain level of paper. When you somebody like Dolph, I mean, we talking about people that can buy Lambos and clear crazy money with no problem. You know what I'm saying? In a day, Birkenback, whatever you want to do, they can do it overnight. They don't have to plan for it. They just purchase it. I feel like you're not in the same bucket as them. So how are you going to pull me down if we're not even in the same bucket? Because that's something we got to talk about too. Sometimes you ain't even in the same bucket as somebody else. So that in that case, you are just a hater.
Right. And I think that's kind of what we were talking about, Tab, before your previous statement. Your mindset is like, it's like Kanye. You think you got a vision that people don't see or thinking that is crazy. So it's like, you can't do that, Tab, because you don't see the vision. So I can't see Tab owning because he do what he do for a living, but I don't see Tab with a trucking company. I don't see Tab with a rental property. I don't see Tab with whatever because I don't see your vision. It ain't me bringing you down. I'm just hating because I don't see the vision. You know what I'm saying? The thing like with Dolph or Nipsey, people don't see the vision. Nipsey bought the block. You know what I'm saying? Like he bought that corner of the block. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think people see the vision as well as the other things he do in the community in regards to like the vector thing with the
Vector 90.
Yeah, Vector 90, the computers and the IT stuff that he was doing. So, people don't think about all the stuff that you're involved with because they don't see the vision. I feel like that's hate. The crowds in the bureau, I feel like is one of those things of like, this is the last chicken bone that's out here, and we got to go grab that chicken bone. That's what I feel like crowds in the bureau is, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, see, and I'm looking at what you said, and then I'm just thinking like we talking Nipsey, we talking Dolph, and then I'm just gonna kind of keep it in like that aspect of Black America, and I'm gonna focus kind of in on the hood. Yes. Like two people from the hood or something like that may have not had those opportunities or taking advantage of all of these different things. What if they don't know stocks that much? What if they don't know real estate that much? And one of them is trying to jump out. What if they two dope boys getting money? But one dude like, man, I think I'm gonna jump into this next year. And he's like, man, what you gonna do with that? We ain't got no credit score out here. How you gonna do that? Like, just to have him go look at an open house with his dope boy buddy, and they both at the open house, and he like, man, what you even wanted to come here for, man? I'm trying to buy this. You're like, how you gonna do that? You ain't got no credit. That could discourage somebody, and it's just like two people that don't have those experiences or that gain knowledge under their belt. So when the other person brings this to them, they don't even see how it's possible, but just that small statement could be discouraging in itself. That is kind of like, well, let's just stay here. This is comfortable, man. You shouldn't do that with your money. That's too far out for you to be taking a risk like that. So I think crabs in a bucket sometimes it's not necessarily just a negative thing, right? Like sometimes it really comes out of ignorance. I don't know what I don't know. So if you bring something to me, I might make a statement out of, man, that sounds volatile and risky because I don't know what I don't know.
You just described the whole ghost and the ghost trilogy.
Oh, ghost, the whole power,
the whole power trilogy right there.
So what would you say then? Would you call them? Would you call, if you looked at the trilogy or the power thing in general?
I mean, I think what you're saying
is a brother thing or hating going on.
No, I think you're saying. Yeah, I think we're all getting at, and I'm not saying that I know. I have not studied any kind of psychology or anything like that, but like you said, yeah, I know. That's what I was going to pass over to you in a second. But at the end of the day, like you said, I think it's just like a lack of knowledge in some people's perspectives. And like Jeff shared, it's the vision. So some people, we're all in the same kind of boat, but then somebody has that different vision. They're like, man, this is what I want to achieve or I want to strive for. And then there's those people that's just like, well, since I don't understand or I don't see it, or I don't get it, I'm just going to give you all the negative aspects of that idea, or I'm going to try to keep you where we're at because, you know, I want to take the same steps that you take at the same time, so we get to the same level, so there's nobody above me. I mean, I'm saying me as just an analogy, but overall, I think that's where it goes. People who just don't understand or don't want nobody moving faster than them are like, wait, before you just go, I need you to stay with me until I'm on your level. And so that's where that negative and that pullback happens.
But the thing about it is, it's one of those things of some people are good with being stagnant in life. And what Tab is talking about is taking risks, right? So some people are good with working, and I'm working 9 to 5, right? Or 9 or whatever the hell I work. Or y'all do the same thing. But outside of that, we do take risks in certain things, whether it be the stock market, the housing market, real estate, etc. We do take risks. But some people like literally, they'll wake up at 7, they do what they do, and they go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. It's the same over and over. For us, we want to take some risk in this lifetime because we want to have our kids do better than we do. So some people don't see that vision, like I said, about like either Yeezy or like whoever these people are. They don't take some crazy risks, take some wild stuff. You're like, man, they panned out. Cuz got like 9 billion because he had a vision that nobody saw, and we thought the boy was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he really had a plan and a vision that nobody could see or even conceptualize. But certain people that live in that minutia of I'm just a robot, the day-to-day thing, they don't see your vision. And that could feel like hate because their minds just don't have that capacity to think like that, or they don't have the creativity to think like that, or whatever it is that makes that person that brilliant to think like that. Some people just don't have it. You know what I'm saying?
But I even look at it too from the standpoint of like, and that's why I mean, we're talking about this, but I'm not saying it like I kind of want to cover all bases. We're not calling just if you're doing that, it doesn't mean that you're a hater. It's just something to really be cognizant of, right? Like, for instance, if I go and tell my mom tomorrow, and I'm gonna quit my job and bet on myself and my dreams or business and stuff like that, right? What's my mom and most parents gonna most likely tell their kids? Man, you better take your ass to work. The hell wrong with you? Ain't nobody got time for that shit. If it failed, what you gonna do? You can't live here. You're gonna get somewhat of that, be met with that level of conflict, right? So what I'm saying is that telling your kid to go back to that job is not just telling them that because it's safe, right? Like in other ways and in other forms of life, you could be basically keeping your kid, like Jeff's saying, stagnant, not trying to get them to take a risk. You know, it's better to play the line, you know, than to try to go out there and do something different because this is where your safety net is. So that's kind of what I'm looking at is like those small statements to get made all the time because this is what people know to be comfortable. We all know this bucket, you know? And so a lot of statements get made and it's like, yeah, you know, that little statement right there from somebody's opinion that I value, bam, just change the trajectory of how I'm going to do my thing and how I'm going to start rocking.
Yeah, but I think we kind of, this is a stupid analogy, but sticks and stones may break my bones type of things. I feel like we over that. Are we over that? Like I did that 30 years ago. Like if people want to, I guess, condemn your dreams or say your dreams are valid just based on words, then that really ain't your passion. So I think what's happening now is we moving a lot towards passion right now. Like people are really doing their passions. Like we got a passion to talk to people. That's why we got this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't getting no bread and nothing for it. We do it because we like doing what we're doing. But there's other things that we do in this work, you know, in this lifetime that we're passionate about. And some people are lucky enough to monetize it. Right. So that's what we want to teach our kids, monetizing our passions. Right.
Right.
Passion for trucking, whatever
it may be,
whatever, writing books, whatever it is that make you passion, you know what I'm saying? You got a passion for it, then you do it. Right. And some people won't see that vision, but I don't feel like that's crabs in a barrel. I just feel like that's people just not on your same wavelength, your same chakra, or whatever you want to call it.
So let's back up then. So let's actually define, because we've been saying like, oh, that's just mostly hate. That's just mostly hate. That's just mostly hate. So then what is a crabs in the bucket type of analogy you would use? Because right now we're saying, oh, that's just a whole bunch of hate, or it's a whole bunch of so what is a crabs in a bucket type of mentality that you would say, okay, this is what it is?
To me, I feel like crabs in a bucket is what we see in our inner cities, right? It's like it's kill or be killed. I feel like when I think of crabs in a barrel, it's that New Jersey, that New York City, that LA, that Oakland. It's that kill or be killed. Like for me to survive, I have to really kill or be killed. Like for me to survive or my family to survive. That's what I feel like crabs in the barrel is. I don't feel like it's like, oh, my boy got $100,000 and he want to spend it on the truck. That's not crabs in the barrel. And I'm like, nah, don't do it. I feel like for me to survive or my family to survive, I have to kill or be killed in one of these inner cities, and it's systemically set up for me to fail. Now, if I done made it out of that, and I just got some people hating on me, that's totally different. Because now I got a portfolio, and I got some money to put over here, some money to put over there, as well as work as a day job, and somebody just hating on me. That's different than me trying to actually survive and feed my family.
So Eddie King just joined us. Good old Eddie
Look
King.
at Bobby Brown. Look at Bobby Brown.
Good old Eddie King.
Doing Bobby Brown.
He doing whatever his prerogative is.
So just to bring you into one, we started off of the various forms of crabs in the bucket that exists. Jeff is saying, you know what, that's mostly a lot of hate. That sounds like a lot of hate because, you know, they're just not seeing the vision. And so they're just hating on your movements. So now we're at the point of let's just really describe or really put a picture to what crabs in the bucket looks like. And so Jeff took it to the systematic thing, which is a great analogy. Like, hey, if you've been in the inner city, Oakland, New Jersey, Richmond, and then you're like, you know what, I want to change my life and just do something different systematically, or what you've experienced kind of pulls you back or will not allow you for that to happen. So that's where Jeff was going in that aspect.
Yeah, we're trying to dissect it up. What's your 2 cents on it? What do you think is which?
Come on, Bobby.
Man, I hate that I missed it because I know y'all said a lot of the things that, you know, I would want to say, you know, between Jeff talking about the systematic aspects of the way that in our community, you know, we have a kind of impoverished mindset, you know, that poverty mindset, and how when people leave that environment and do better for themselves, how we make fun of them, whether it's somebody who leave and go to college and get an education, and you college boy, or somebody go to the military, don't go work for the white man. You know, it's all that aspects of crab in the bucket to the killings that we've seen, right? You know, King Von killed Young Dolph, Nipsey Hussle, all killed by people, you know, that look like them. You know what I'm saying? You know, to a certain degree with Nipsey and Young Dolph killed in their own communities. You know what I'm saying? Within their communities, and you know that are aspects of just, you know, colleagues and coworkers who look like you, who hating on you because you're doing things that they don't want you. You know, we got a friend, man, that's been going through some stuff with work, you know, and some of his people that he thought it was his boys who looked like him, you know, hating on him and slowing him down because he getting money in a way that they can't get money. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it is just our ability to attack our people instead of supporting our people and uplifting our people and pushing them to go after their goals and their dreams. You know, that's crab in a bucket to me.
And that, I'm glad you said that too, because that's a whole nother point, right? Like crabs in a bucket don't gotta just be your own people. It's like as far as color and ethnicity, you kind of hit it right at a good point. These punk ass jobs and these punk ass people that you work with, like it's a lot of people up there that's hating, right? Like hypothetically, you got a young Black person in law enforcement or something like that, and the agency is predominantly a different color. They may not be ready for the innovative things that come that way, the swagger that comes with that way. And a lot of it may be less corrective behaviors in order to establish some type of boundary around that person or to keep things status quo. And it's no different than, you know, in that field opposed to even Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson comes in the league, gets all his tattoos, starts wearing chains and jewelry. What happens shortly after Allen Iverson does that? Y'all got to start wearing shirts. Yeah, you can't come outside like this anymore. So a lot of this really is people believe that a system is a certain way, or they bought into that. And the only thing that makes sense to them is continuously to reproduce, recreate, and clone what it is they believe the system to be. Even when that system is failed or broken, they want it to be the same because that's what they bought into, or that's what they believe, that if you're going to advance, even though there's no advancement being made, you have to look like that thing. So a crab in a bucket to me ain't just, you know, our own people. It's people in other colors, professions, and all types of stuff. Primarily in the workforce, it's a lot of crabs in a bucket in a lot of different industries.
I mean, like you said, but when you talk about jobs in the system, it's because it works for a certain individual. So why would I change that when it's been working for me all these years? I mean, when we talk about, man, there's so many things that you can talk about from that the Black community had experienced. Redlining, our educational systems, Board of Education, it was designed for a certain individual to succeed. I mean, I'll even throw in, it was white males, not even for white females. So in that sense that you guys are talking about, it's like, nah, we're going to keep you oppressed or not able to elevate, because if you do, you're going to change the system that works for me, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I worked too hard to let you do that. You know,
Right.
that's kind of what it comes down to.
Think about like the NCAA, right? And how they don't pay their professional athletes, right? But we've recently seen
They're not professionals, they amateurs, my brother.
They amateurs, but we're starting to see a movement where coaches are getting 10-year, $100 million deals. And for years they said, well, we don't have the money to pay the athletes, but you can continue to pay these coaches. Now these coaches are making more than professional coaches. So
90 million, I thought I saw the other day for somebody.
They all got 100. They got 10 years, 100 million, like 4 guys.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's looking at that. That's designed to keep you in the bucket. It's designed to keep you from thriving in a way that you can thrive. You can thrive. You can make money for us, but you can't make money for yourself. You know what I mean? And there's jobs that set up like that, right? There are certain industries where if you work for that company, you can't have another job outside. You can't have a side job because and it doesn't even have to be in conflict with what you're doing. It can just be any job, right? That they're basically saying, no, you can only make money for us. You can't make money for yourself. And all that is crab in a bucket mentality. Is just trying to keep people in a bucket, keep them in a space where they can't thrive and they can't reach their goals. And unfortunately, in our community, it leads to a lot of unrealized goals, right? A lot of people are suffering from unrealized dreams. You grew up, you wanted to be this, you wanted to be that, and you get to a certain point in your age, you're 21, 22, and you start to realize, man, that's probably never going to happen for me. And it's not because you didn't have the potential. It's not because you didn't have the desire or not even the want to. It's because the people around you didn't support you and push you and encourage you along the way to grow in that area, man. And it's horrible. It's toxic, man. And it really is devastating to our ability as people to grow and thrive.
So in those aspects, though, I mean, we've pointed out some of the challenges. You know, for the last 30 minutes, we pointed out the challenges. But, you know, from perspective, we also wanted to give sometimes a solution. So I'm going to start with the people that are our specialists in providing solutions to people's life journeys. What would you say is a good way to address it, recognize it, and then to deal with it?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't give advice. Watch out. I don't give advice.
Oh, you don't give advice?
No.
Well, it's not to say that you don't give advice, but what would be your suggestion?
Right, so what you want me to tell him, Pete? What you want me to tell him? Tell me again.
Like I know, I'll say it this way. In education, when people come in and they're like, man, I didn't know that college was something I could achieve. And I didn't know going through community college can help me get to that level of achievement that I was looking for, because everybody told me that not smart enough and I wouldn't be able to afford it and I can't do it. So when you come into the college, it's kind of like the conversations I've had with students was like, well, one, it's about being educated. If you get a degree, great. But if you have a technical skill that you want to do great at, just be educated in that and then capitalize on it. I have friends that went through 4 years of college, got a business degree, and then found out, you know what? I want to be a carpenter. I don't even like this. But what they did was, I'm going to take this business degree and I learned the business aspect of it. And I'm going to take this skill or this technology skill that I have, and I'm going to turn it into a business that's going to be profitable for me. So that's what I'm talking about in regards to giving people that advice. Like, man, you may have come from an impoverished area, or you may have been dealing with family or the system that's saying you can't do it. But at the end of the day, there is a way to do it. You just have to have that mindset, as well as knowing your resources to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, what you talked about, being, I feel like in this group, we don't have this crab in the barrel mentality. I feel like we always push each other to be our greatest versions of ourselves. Now, we always talk about being a good human, being a good person, and all that kind of stuff. And that's my motto. Like, and I feel like for you to be a good human and be your best version of self is you got to find your purpose, right? Mm-hmm. So like when me and DeJuan talk to people all the time, it's one of those things of, why are you here? What do you want to talk about? This ain't about what I want to talk about, because I don't know. This is what you want to figure out for you. So when you figure out what you want to be, what you want to do, then you pursue it, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of people telling you no, regardless of the systematic hurdles that you got to go over. Then you try to figure it out and make it work for you. That's the only thing I can tell you. And with the tools that you have, whether me being your therapist or your life coach or your whatever, I'm gonna just push you in that area. I can't advise you on it. I'm gonna just push you. Like, you told me you want to do that. Is this conducive to you working towards that, or just making you go the other way? Right? Are you going in reverse? So I feel like as a community, we are getting better at letting our people think outside of the box. Because a lot of things, like when I was raised, it was go to college and get a degree. Now it's more so like, you got a passion, go ahead and do it. You want to do something on Instagram, go ahead and do it. You want to build an app, go ahead and do it. You want to go ahead and do this, that. Like, it's a different mindset now. So we got to start changing as parents and elders and whoever, advisors, to start thinking outside of the box. And I feel like that too is a different thing when it comes to crabs in the barrel, because it's a different mindset now than we had back in the day. To get out of that barrel, we got to start, you know what I'm saying, twisting that thing just a little bit. I let the one go.
Hey, Jeff, when you was getting dressed today, did you say, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to make sure my shirt,
I was
my watch, and my hat makes the front,
I went to work. I was at work and I came here, man.
You decided to make sure you was color coordinated with the artwork, bro?
Oh, no, I see. Oh, you see me in the back. I didn't even notice that.
Put the right
like
beanie
Tab.
on.
I'm like Tab. I'm like Tab. Yeah. I was at work, man. I was at work. I just came from work. My pants are green too. You want to see my pants? They green.
Green?
Slide.
Are they green?
They green.
And you got on green slides.
Hey,
Jeff said, I'm gonna kill him today.
Kill him, right? I'm on the perspective. I got the paint in the background. I got the beanie.
I got the green going, man.
Kill him today.
Yeah.
I think, we have this thing in really not in our community. I think it's just kind of a globally thing where we talk about snitches get stitches, right? And we discourage snitching. I think we need to start discouraging people being discouragers, right? Like, we need to put some type of slogan associated with people who discourage people, right? Discourage the ass beat, right? Something, because that's the problem, is we discourage people and we don't always do it intentionally. Hey man, well, have you thought about that? Like, you look, I hate when people we do this to our kids too. You got a kid, he's lost, he don't know where he wants to go, right? He don't want to go to college. So then you say to him, okay, well, won't you join the military? Oh no, they can't join the military. That's the white man's war. All right, well, how about to be a firefighter? Oh no, that's dangerous. All right, well, how about to be a police officer? Oh no, that's dangerous. So you're discouraging them from having a life and going out there and creating opportunities for themselves because you have some type of stigma or bias associated with those things. We do too much discouraging people in our communities instead of uplifting people what they do and what to do. When somebody calls you and they want some advice, give it to them. Don't hate on them because they're trying to do the same thing that you're doing. And I think that's what we need to start in our community, encouraging people to not be discouragers. Right. And I think if we do that, then you will see more people willing to go down that path. If this person wants to go in the military and they thought about it and they figured it out, how about we support them and help them along the way instead of trying to talk them out of something that they want for themselves?
I like it. I
think about it too. Like, I mean, obviously I like other podcasts and different things that go on, and I like paying attention particularly to Wallow on Instagram. My favorite thing that he says in general is fuck what they think. And he'd be going on and on like, fuck what they think. Fuck, like, that's how you really have to be about it in life, because you are going to catch discouraging comments about whatever it is, what you wear, what you want to be in life, anything like that. You just got to be like, fuck what they think and do it, because it's a lot of people that we really look at as like geniuses that cross that picket line every day, whether it be the Erykah Badu's, the Kanye's, the Andre 3000s, I mean, scientists, Basquiat, artists. I mean, anywhere you want to go with this, like, these people all did something that wasn't normal. You know what I'm saying? I think in order to be innovative, you can't be normal, right? So with that being said, how many times a day do you have to cross that line and go past that crab in that bucket and be like, I know you don't understand, but I'm doing this shit anyway, right? And I think maybe that's why we don't have that in our group of friends, is because at the end of the day, more than likely, if it ain't gonna kill me or kill somebody else, and we tell one of y'all or y'all tell me not to do it, I'm be like, oh, I don't give a fuck, I'm doing it anyways, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of what we do. It's like, I'm gonna listen to you, and I'm glad you told me what you told me, but I'm still going to do what I want to do in life, period, point blank. And I think maybe that's the difference. I think in general for people, what I would say is just fuck what they think, man. Do you?
I'm gonna say before P go, try it. Like I did some stuff like some renovations around here at the house. Some shit I paid for, some shit I did with myself. I'm gonna try this shit first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I did some tiles in the bathroom or whatever, changed some vanities, etc. I'm gonna try it. But you know what? Gonna try that roof. So when I need a new roof, the people got to come and change that roof, man. I can't do that. But I'm gonna try some shit first, right? Before I give up and be like, I just can't do it. You gotta try that shit first before you be like, nah, I'm just gonna work my 9 to 5. Nah, try it first, and you know what I'm saying, or work your 9 to 5 and try it. But don't just be like, because somebody was like, Jeff, that ain't a good idea. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's that. Don't do that. Try it. At least try it.
Real quick, that's another thing. Stop discouraging people who work 9 to 5s. Like they getting their bag too. Just because they're not getting their bag the same way that you getting your bag, you want to be out here trying to discourage people. Let people live the way that they live. Just because they're not living in the way that you want to live, you hating on what they're doing. We got to stop hating on people from doing things. Oh man, yeah, you over there working for the white man. Hey, bro, stop that. That's stupid and it's dumb and it's ignorant. They working for themselves. They working to take care of their family. And as long as they're working, because if they ain't working, they robbing your ass.
Yeah,
so encourage them to work.
Robbing season. And you said the right thing though. It's not only are you working for yourself, but $1 million worth of game.
Boop, 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 boop. He got cut off, but he ain't lying. So, like you said, if you
what I was
ain't
gonna say is,
go ahead, P. I'm sorry.
You give, and I encourage people, if you got that 8-hour job, that's great. But then I'm also thinking, if you give 8 hours to a job, you need to also invest that same amount of time into yourself. You got to find that time to invest into yourself so that you can achieve those goals that you put out there into the world. So I was gonna say also, I know Taff was saying the fuck it mentality. I was gonna go with do it afraid. Like sometimes you just don't know what's gonna happen, and you're like, I don't want to put myself out there because it may not work, and I don't want to look dumb if it doesn't work, or man, I'm not skilled enough to do it. And I go with just do it afraid. It don't matter. Just go out there and make that attempt. Like Jeff, you just said, you do things around your house, man. You knock the wrong hole in that wall, you're gonna have a flood. So
I got the call.
You got to call somebody to get it addressed. But at the same time, though, you still put yourself out there to do it. So there's nothing wrong with doing something afraid. And then the last thing I want to say is we have to invest in like leadership opportunities for our youth and for individuals to actually, get out of that crabs in the bucket mentality. Because if you put people in leadership roles or you put them in roles where they will thrive, you'll see a different mentality take place. And I think that's another thing that our community falls short in. Like a lot of times when our kids, after they get out of school or after they, finish certain grade levels or whatever, it's like, well, what do I do, Dad? Or what do I do, Mom? Well, go play a sport. Well, there's also leadership opportunities. Get them into leadership opportunities so they can see that mindset or see their mindset change because of the experiences that they have. Jeff,
it was something that we talked about before. We talked about this offline because we was talking about Tanasi Simiko's book, Between Two Worlds, right? So it's like in this space of we got kids. Do we tell them like really to color within the lines, or do we want them to break out of the lines and see how far they can go with their ideas and their mindset versus just coloring in the lines, right? Because what happens with us, so our generation, we 80s and 70s and 80s kids, right? Or I guess we could say 90s because we grew up in the 90s. But it was like color within the lines. But we didn't get to push the line too much, you know what I'm saying, as men of color, because you know what that means. It was set up for us not to really push that line. But I feel like for our kids and the youth now there's so many tools and mechanisms, outlets and mechanisms that you use now to really push the lines. So do we really teach our kids to color within the lines, and then we teach them to go do whatever the hell you want to do?
Right. The problem though, Jeff, with that is, I mean, there's multiple ways of thought. If I can be a contrarian here, I think before you learn, it's important to learn to color within the lines
first.
Learn to follow the rules before you
Of
get
course.
to a point
Of
where
course.
you are kind of a rule breaker, right? Because in order to change something and do something different, you must understand what
You got to be in it. You got to
yeah,
be in it.
yeah, you got to be in it. And so I think that obviously being your own self and being creative, right? Anybody, you know, Zuckerberg, Bezos, you know, Gates, all the people to a certain degree have been people who didn't color within the lines. They created industries that followed the rules of how they colored. But I still think you have to understand the rules because we can't afford, unfortunately, sometimes the opportunities to just be out there totally defiant, totally doing our own thing. Because that kid who in school who's smarter than everyone but doesn't conform to, you know, the traditional Western education, he's going to be viewed as you know,
problem child.
He's gonna be a problem child. He's gonna have a learning disability. He's gonna have all that because we didn't teach him how to color within the lines first. And then after you show them that you know the rules and you understand the rules, then you go out there and you push the line, you push forward. So I think there's definitely aspects to that you know is important.
Yeah, my bad. I was what I was just going back to is kind of what I was saying. Before I had my little technical difficulty. I was watching this podcast, Earn Your Leisure had somebody on, and what he was saying about jobs in general was that everybody always talking about, man, I hate my job, or yeah, you probably hate your job, whatever. People fuel that fire, but we got to start looking at it. And what he said, what I thought was pretty important was that look at your job as a business partner. Everybody talking about crowdfunding and trying to raise funds. Your job is your business partner. You get into business with them to create other opportunities for yourself, or that so that you can have an opportunity where you guys have come into a mutual agreement. You receive these funds. Now you take what you've received out of that job, and then you go and start your own business so that you can sever ties with that business partner, or if the relationship isn't working out well enough, you can go into business for yourself. But our jobs, sometimes when we get super negative connotations about them in our vocabulary and our way of thinking, really, that was a good way to think about it, is that's your business partner. Go in there, do your business with them, come out and go create a whole nother wave of business.
But that was going back to what you was talking about, Tab, initially, right? I work my day job, whether I go to work 9 to 5, whether I'm a D-boy, whatever I do for a living. But I had a vision outside of my 9 to 5. And I was like, hey, bro, I want to get a rental property. Hey, bro, I want to start a trucking company. Hey, bro, I just want to invest in crypto. Hey, bro, I want to do whatever. And then the people that you are surrounded with, whether they're coworkers or people in your same realm, like, hey, bro, that's stupid as hell. Why the hell would you do that? Right? So that's what we was talking about earlier. That's what you initially hit on. And I said, that's a hater. I said, that's a hater. I don't feel like that's a crab in a barrel person. I feel like that's a hater more than a person trying to bring themselves out of that barrel. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's going back to your initial point.
I think the hard part when we just think about trying to put an exact title on that is that it's subjective, right? It really is kind of also too, what is the person's intention? Because all of us can be making statements to try to keep somebody on status quo, but is your intention to do it because you're concerned, or is your intention to do it because you don't want to see me advance, right? And then I guess that's where it comes down to, or is it the bucket, or are you the hater? You know, we trying to figure out which one is which.
Well, it's selfish, right? Let me tell you, I'm selfish. I want all my friends to be successful and do good, so I ain't got to worry about your asses, right? So I don't want you to be in this bucket, because if you in this bucket with me, I got to worry about how to get us all out of this bucket. But if you can get out of this bucket, then I can figure out the best way for me to get out of this bucket, and I ain't got to worry about you. And matter of fact, I can reach out to you and say, hey, bruh, hey, send something down for me to get out of this bucket because I'm stuck, because everybody else ain't in here. But if I'm in here with 10 and 12 other people, I'm not going to ask you to help me. Right?
You don't know any better. Yeah, you don't know any better.
You don't. So for selfish reasons, I want my friends to all do well. So then I can focus on me. I ain't even got to worry about, oh yeah, I know they good. I know they handling their business. And I can selfishly work on my growth, right? So to a certain degree, I don't want to be pulling you into this bucket. So you could be taking care of your family. I want to see. Look, we all fathers. You know what I mean? We all got responsibilities. We got wives. We got fiancés. We all in a position where we got people that count on us. And I know if you're not able to take care of your people, the people that you care for, you love from, you suffering, you struggling. So I want you to be great, right? I want you to be great So now we all could be great together. So now we could come together and say, okay, how do we create this community of us giving back to those who can't?
So
right?
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What about, we talked about the crabs in the bucket, the hater, and I think we went round robin on that one. What is the responsibility of, just for the analogy's sake, the crab that makes it out of the bucket? Like you said, is his responsibility to reach back? Is he obligated to reach back? And at some point in time, when and how and if should he cut off that relationship, right? Because what if the rest of those crabs really don't want to make it out of the bucket? They just there to make sure nobody else gets out. Because that happens a lot too. It's like, well, shit, I just don't want, I'm not, it's not that I'm hating, I just don't want none of us to make it out. And then we'll all be the same forever. Because just like you want us all to do good, what about the friends that want everybody to just stay status quo?
Bruh, that's stupid as hell.
It happens though. It happens. It
I
happens.
was gonna say, hey, you're supposed to have the mentality of reach back and pull forward. I mean,
want the one to buy this tank truck right here. It's the tank truck.
That's
So
what, 180?
That
180, right?
That's that 160. So when he got a tank truck, I can ride in that tank truck with him. And you know what? When he got it parked, I'm gonna go get the key and I'm gonna drive it. So I could be riding around in the tank truck. You know what I'm saying? Tab, that's just stupid.
But that's us though. You're talking about us. I don't think that applies for everybody though. I think it's a lot of people out there right now that have people around them that go off and do something and they don't take that well and take that kindly, right? Or they don't know, or they've made it and they're like, okay, well, what is my responsibility? Or how many times do I have to keep watching these people make the same mistakes before I don't help them anymore? I think that's a fair question to what other people experience outside of our friend group.
There's layers though. Let's
super layers.
Here's the question on your question. Just because I made it out of that bucket, is that the bucket that I got to go pull people back out from? Does it have to be the bucket in which I came from, right? Because the argument is, particularly with Nip's situation, is he stayed within his community, he was doing for his community, and his community killed him. You see what I'm saying? Like, so if there's aspects of, cool, do I need to help my bucket? Because if I stay too close to my bucket, those people are trying to see me fail, because again, they're looking up at me and they're like, oh, he got all this. There's always a hater. Y'all remember that scene in Belly? Y'all remember the dude who was just sitting back there? He was just hating. Like he was sitting there mad because everybody else was flossing and he wasn't getting his money too.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Like it's cats really like that. Who you ain't did nothing wrong to them. They just don't like where you are. They don't like that their girl sees you and be like, oh, why you ain't doing it like that person? So again, they're looking for a reason to take you down. Tap, what did Jeff tell you when you was about to get that Porsche?
Buy it.
Why? Why did he tell you to buy it?
Because he already knew I'd work hella much, and he figured he was gonna be driving that shit all Christmas break.
I'm getting in it.
He wants you to succeed because he know, and to a certain degree, he benefits from your success. Why we don't think like that in all regards to black people? I want to see a black person, the VP, the CEO, the chief of police, the president, and all that, because I may not benefit from it, but hopefully that person grabs at least two people and bring them with them. Yeah. Right? There is an expectation that I'm going to try to help someone that looks like me, because everybody else in America has.
That's what happens everywhere else.
White people do.
Everywhere else.
Asians do. Hispanics do. Everybody else helps their people. There's nothing wrong with us saying, hey, I want my people to do well. I don't want to see my people on the news hurting each other, killing each other in the unemployment lines. I don't want to see my people in those poverty situations. I want to see my people thrive. But how do I do that? I have to be willing to pull somebody with me.
Mm-hmm. See, but I feel that though, like, right?
That's
like
good. No, what the one's talking about is important because he's done it for me in this therapy room, right? So, you know, in that room, I'm a novice, but he the OG. He 15 years in. I'm 3-4 years in.
I ain't go to school for you. You went to school for your goddamn self.
I ain't for school. We talking about business. We ain't talking about school. He ain't did no test or nothing. We talking about business. He knows how to run that business, right?
Right. You know to pull up. You my family. If I got the information, you got the information. We talk about like somebody that you pulling up.
No, exactly. But some people don't feel like you feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So when he got the game in regards to business of how to run it, it's right there.
Why not use that resource?
I don't want to see Jeff winning. What? That's ridiculous. He want to see me win. He want to see my son win. He want to see my wife win. The same way I want to see Tab win and Parrish win. right? So when P get that president job, because he's the VP right now, so when he get the president job, he want that VP to win. He want them everybody else in that realm to win, especially the people that look like him. And when Tab take over that diversity and inclusion part of that PD thing that he gonna do, he gonna want to see people that look like him win.
Oh, that's
They
already
all gonna
taking
bring
over.
me in
That's
as a speaker
that's
and pay me to speak for their organization. So of course I want them to get those positions so they can bring me in to pay me to speak for their organization.
And a lot of times
we need to lock in with y'all on that. Yeah, we need to lock in with y'all on that.
a lot
But
of
I
times
think
too,
I'll just say this for sake of it all. I agree, but I think that part of that is the fact that this is the model of success. This is what it looks like, right? I remember at one point in time us all damn near being brokered on unemployment, right? And everybody got off and did their things and did stuff and transcended at different times. But this is the model of not being a crab in a bucket. This is what it looks like. When you keep rooting and rooting for your friends, ultimately we get put in these positions. I don't go to work thinking about, ooh, what happens if I get fired today? I got a network and a group of friends that I'll find a way to land on my feet. But what about, I mean, I'm just saying we are fortunate. I don't know if everybody else is fortunate. So maybe it just comes down to change your circle.
Here's the thing though. A lot of times I don't think people look at, here's another analogy of it. Here, look at it this way. How many different companies of bread do you see in a bread aisle?
About for 50.
And they all what though?
Bread.
Ain't as good as Wonder Bread.
Yeah, they're all bread. And so what I'm saying that to say, from what you're saying, Taff, when people are like, well, you know, I don't see how I can do it because that's how he's doing it. Well, you don't have to do it exactly how he's doing it, or you don't have to really tap in exactly how that person maneuvered to get there. But at the same time, the opportunity is there. And there's more than enough room for everybody to be successful on that shelf. So going back to that bread aisle, there's a million different types of bread, and everybody's getting paid off of that product. So you can find your way to pull somebody up to say, hey, you ain't got to do it like me, but here's the tools, switch it up and make whatever kind of batter you want. But at the end of the day, be on the same shelf with me. We can all make it happen at the same time.
Right. I mean, that's important. I feel like that's just the non-haters, the non-crab barrel pullers, or whatever the hell you want to call them. It's like, bro, if you win, we all winning. Like Dewan said, I have to worry about you no more. I ain't got to worry about Lil Tab or La Paula. I ain't got to worry about Jaden or Justin. I ain't got to worry about Lil Daniel. Or y'all ain't got to worry about Austin because y'all seen your boy do his thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's most important is we going to take care of home, and then we're going to mentor some people outside of our home so we can all push forward to be the best versions of ourselves in our community, whatever community that is. And we talking about the Black community. But we talking about whatever community, whatever we're part of, we want to put all our resources and push all our resources forward so our young people can be much further along than we are. And we doing all right.
See, but I circle back to the whole, like we just gave some wealth of knowledge, but then I circle back to how our society and our systems work. Will that crab in the bucket mentality still remain just because of those individuals that's going to just buy into what society norms are? And I think that's just the biggest issue that we're going to have to deal with. Like some people are just not going to see outside of those lines that we're talking about pushing, or see outside of the resources that are available. And they're going to stay within that mentality and continue to pull each other back in. And that's the sad part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hard part though, P.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part though. Like, we was lucky to be successful, and we went to college and all the other things that we done in our lifetime. And college that's not the barometer of success, but we were able to do some things in that realm to, I guess, get out of the barrel, if you want to call it that. But there's still another layer to that barrel that we cannot break, which is that glass ceiling. And in a lot of places, we ain't breaking that glass ceiling, even though me and Dewan are entrepreneurs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and we ain't got no bosses, but it's still a layer of ceiling that we really cannot break through because the system is not built for us to break through that thing.
Yeah, and I think that it goes right back to what I was saying. I feel like when it comes to crabs in a bucket, I'm going to see it more in a professional setting, a job setting, than I'm going to see it in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? On breaking those barriers. And maybe that's because we are lucky to have a group of friends and blessed to have that around us, but it's more likely to show up in those realms of life for me than it is anywhere else. And, you know, it all is the same. no matter what it is, whether it's your people or these other settings, it all is the same. So, I mean, it is the hard part, like Jeff said, just trying to figure out how do we get past it? What do you do when you have it going on, and what do you do to be better? So,
huh?
Yeah.
P,
Yes.
go ahead and get us up out of here.
Well, in our last minutes before we conclude, let me first say thank you very much for tuning in and spending some time with us. We appreciate you listening and providing some feedback. We greatly appreciate that. Please hit us on Braspective. Check us out on Facebook as well as YouTube. Subscribe, pass us on, tell others, send questions. Just reach out and we will definitely respond. And before we go, anybody want to give last words of any wisdom before we say bye to the audience?
We do it all the time, but I'll go first.
Yes, I couldn't. I can't go first this time.
I don't know. You know,
I can't go first this time. Go ahead.
You can't go first this time. But like I say, be a good human, be your best version of yourself, man. Be honest to yourself. And I think this crabs in the barrel thing is important because it's a lot of what we call haters in the house, Tab. It's a lot of haters in the house. You can't be around a lot of haters in the house, man. Be around the people that love you. Be around the people that want to see you win. And sometimes that means cutting off friends that ain't really your damn friends.
Cut them off.
Yeah. They hate me because they ate me.
I think about it, you know, you only go as far as the people around you go. So if you want to go further in life, push the people around you to go further in life, and you guys can ride each other's waves. You know, I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are doing well, but I think it's also important to pull people around you who are not doing well to help them do better. So again, we are only as strong as our weakest link. So let's make our weakest link as strong as possible, so then we become even stronger. You know, so that's what I got.
I ain't got much today. I'm gonna just go back to what my man Wallow say. Fuck what they think. If you got something you want to do, something you trying to do, somebody give you a discouraging comment, what I said already. Fuck what they think. That's how I feel about it. Do you? It's a new year. It's coming up. You got something you want to do it. Whoever say don't do it or say some bullshit, lead them to the side. Just go execute. Don't hear nothing. Don't hear no noise in the crowd. Just execute.
And with that being said, man, thank you for coming. God bless you. Good night.
Hey, Bobby Brown, you came in late. You're supposed to have more to say than that.
I told him you're going to slide in with the, it's hard in the house tonight. Stand up.
Yeah, there you go, Bobby. Whatever the hell.